What is going on, my future crypto millionaires? All right, so I'm going to be talking about swing trading today and really some ways you can make money swing trading crypto on Robinhood or other exchanges. Plus, I'm going to go over the example I have for you because I have my Robinhood account portfolio pulled up. You see, for the last year here, I'm up about 380%, and this is mainly from XRP, trading XRP, some Bitcoin, and some Dogecoin, right? So I'm going to go into some of the things you could do here to get started. And I'm also going to talk about XRP a little bit more because obviously it is one of my favorite coins in the market, and I've made a lot of money trading it. And I'm going to kind of go over where I see it going in the near term here, not really the long term, because we're going to be talking about swing trading here. Now, I am actually in a pretty bad spot with XRP, even though I'm up on my account. I basically forgot to put a stop loss in when it went up to somewhere right around like 290. And it is what it is. I'm kind of just stuck where I am with it. But for example, I did have XRP pulled up here on TradingView because right now you can see the price on it is right around $2.24. And I have a couple lines in here with where the basically the resistance is. And on the bottom end, $1.80. I have $1.78 on there in the blue, and on the higher end, 340 to me is going to be like the next big barrier. You could say $3 is for XRP right now because it's at 224, but I think that once it gets past 340 is kind of where we're looking at, where there's going to be a lot of selling pressure. And then 4 on the flip side, I just right now, guys, with XRP, I just think that there are a lot of different people throwing a lot of different fear out there on it right now. It just seems like completely ridiculous. If you look at the top cryptos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. XRP has so much positive sentiment around it right now, with all the ETFs that are going to be popping off, and we're really just waiting for the SEC case to kind of wrap things up. I also forgot to mention, guys, if you want to learn more about how I swing trade and basically how you can get kind of like started with it, how much money you really need to be doing this, I'm going to have some links below in the description and comments for that. You could actually hop on the newsletter as well, so check that out. Also, you guys could tap the like, I would definitely appreciate it. But let's talk about XRP right now. So you can kind of see right now it's at 224. Swing trading, there's a couple different ways you can do it. Really, the way I like to do it is by holding for a minimum of 2 weeks to a month, right? The thing is, the longer you hold, the bigger the gains can typically be, as long as you're setting some stop losses. Like right now, if you're going to buy an XRP at 220, the way I would do this, if you were going to like first start buying into this, I would set a buy order at 220, and then like a take profit right around like 240 if you wanted to do a swing trade like that. But this is also dependent on a couple things, right? Are you buying into it looking for, a small gain, which is totally fine. I've actually found that when I do smaller gains, I actually make a lot more money faster. But there's one thing going on right now with XRP, and we're waiting for the SEC case to wrap up. And I think that's going to be the big catalyst for it to have a big pump very soon here. So whenever you're swing trading a crypto, you want to like look at any upcoming news around it, the sentiment, that kind of stuff, and you can kind of go from there. And then you can start drawing resistance lines on the chart like I kind of did here with the blue lines, as you can see. Now, like I said, this is probably going to go over a lot of your guys' heads. That's why, check out some of those links below in the description and comments. But back to this one account. Now, I use other exchanges. Robinhood is okay. I'm not going to say they're the greatest for crypto trading, but I do plan on just taking this one account to at least 1 to 2 million, in the next, I would say like 3 to 6 months. That's kind of where I see this going. And yeah, so exchanges, Robinhood, they're popular and they're okay. I'm not going to say they're the greatest. I'm not going to say they're the worst. They are what they are, right? Anyways, and I kind of wanted to wrap this thing up right now. If you guys are looking for a coin to be swing trading, I really like XRP, not financial advice. It's because the volatility on it's kind of all over the place. And when you kind of get good at this, you can definitely make a good amount of money. You could lose a lot of money too, but it takes time. It takes it takes time, it takes emotional control, and you have to like have some conviction with the trade that you're making. And right now, the reason I'm just kind of holding XRP, even though I'm down on my position, I'm still a lot up in the last year. You guys could see close to 400%. I'm holding because, you know, I have some conviction in this trade, and I think that once we break $3 pretty soon here, we're gonna have one more pop before I imagine it kind of goes down again. So keep that in mind. I have a plan for it, and you know, actually, let me go back to the chart real quick here. My whole thinking here is when we go back over $3, and we kind of approach the 340 mark, somewhere like between 330 and 340, I'm going to be putting a stop loss in probably at like 305. So if it drops back down to that price, it'll automatically sell it. The thing is, if we break $3 and then go to 340, which is what I think is going to happen, maybe between 340 and 360, there's a good chance that XRP can kind of get up to $4, but there's going to be a ton of resistance at $4, so I'd imagine it sells off a lot there, and then the next resistance would be $5, and who knows when it gets there, right? You have to look at this in, you just have to kind of look at the bigger picture of it, right? And like I said, these are just going to be some of the resistance levels you can expect with XRP. So it's smart to put some stop loss orders in because, you know, at the end of the day, things can turn pretty quick, and you do want to lock in those profits when you're swing trading, right? Okay, anyways, let's go over this article right now. So just basically, it's off in the Crypto Basic, and I think it's actually pretty relevant because, you know, I'm talking about XRP, and it just says XRP now at the end of a Wyckoff reaccumulation when a breakout could occur. And I do want to kind of just scroll down in this article because there is a pretty interesting chart on here. Now, I'll link this up below too. It's from the Crypto Basic, and here it is right here. And it's kind of hard to see, but basically we're kind of at an RSI where it's resetting, and basically when it resets and gets to a certain level, it crosses over, and that's what can trigger the next bullish move. And you know, RSI is an important part of trading, and looking at this, this guy Steph Crypto or whatever his name is, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he did make kind of an interesting, you know, point here where the RSI is on XRP and it's really low, and usually what happens at that point, you know, kind of resets and then pumps back up. So I think, once again, not financial advice, we're going to be in a spot here in the next 2 weeks to maybe a full month. I'd imagine it's going to be like 2 weeks where I could see crypto just blasting off, specifically XRP, Bitcoin kind of getting back up to where the 100K mark is, and you know, all that kind of good stuff. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed a quick update here, and you know, just kind of keeping you with the journey here of what's going on with this one account I have here on Robinhood. And like I said, if you want to learn more about swing trading, you know, I'll have some resources for that below in the description and comments. You could also get on the newsletter. Tap the like, guys, subscribe, and we'll see y'all in the next crypto video.